Color grading is a skill, one that can take years to master. And for those of us who aren't professional colorists or really looking to master that skill, tools like Enhancer make it a lot more attainable to be able to achieve cinematic looks. So in today's video, I want to share my perspective, workflow, and my overall opinion on Enhancer and how it helps me as someone who's by no means a colorist at all, but still wants to achieve professional results. So let's dive into it. So starting off with the basics, what is Enhancer? Enhancer is a color grading plugin designed to replicate the characteristics of film. So thinking about the soft, rich tones of old film stock, the subtle glow of the halation, the texture of film grain, these are all things that can be achieved using Enhancer. So as far as I'm aware, you can use it in every major NLE as well as its own standalone app, but we'll get into that a bit later. I use it exclusively on DaVinci Resolve, but pretty sure it's the same for Premiere Pro, Final Cut, and wherever else you're editing on. So it provides an all-in-one toolkit for film emulation. Instead of stacking multiple nodes manually, you can handle everything in one place. So opening up, you'll go to the Effects tab, you can search Enhancer, and just drag that onto your node. From there, you'll see a bunch of options of different things to control, and I'll be honest, it's a little bit overwhelming at first, but what we're going to do is press Option and click onto this and just close all these tabs so we can work through them one by one. So starting with the input, this is where you tell Enhancer what type of footage you're working with. So this is S-Log3 footage shot on my Sony FX6. So I'd go to choose camera, down here, Sony is the FX6, and I shot this at S-Gamut 3 Cine ISO 800. So that's the first step. You want to tell Enhancer what camera footage you're using so it correctly converts everything to the right color space. Now, although that's correct, I don't actually do that. Because I convert everything into the DaVinci Wide Gamut space, I actually just go to the top and click the DaVinci Wide Gamut Intermediate. So you can see from here, it's gone back into a log image. That's because we're still in the DaVinci Wide Gamut color space and we need to convert that back. So let me just set up the node structure and then I'll run you through how that works. Okay, so this is my typical node structure when I'm using Enhancer. So everything in between these nodes is in the DaVinci Wide Gamut workspace. And I'm not going to get too deep into that because it's a whole video by itself, but essentially it gives you more flexibility with the colors. The second node we have is WB, which is the white balance. Now you can control this within Enhancer, but I prefer doing it outside just to get my colors correct before starting to adjust. And then we have the Enhancer node. So as a node tree, this is very, very simple. And this may not be correct. This is just how I learn and how I'm choosing to use this. So if you use it differently, cool. Hopefully we're both getting great results. Going into the Enhancer. So the source, I have that as the DaVinci Wide Gamut because obviously I've converted my footage into that space. And then after that, I don't really touch this tab. Like the exposure control is the only thing I may go on to, but for most part, I don't really touch this tab. So I'll close this. Let me close them all again while we're at it. But yeah, everything is now at default. You know, let's say I refresh this just to double check. So everything we're going through is the stock settings and how it looks. So just like I mentioned before, there's loads of different tabs for you to style in your image. Now, I'm not going to go through each of them because one, I can't really tell you what everything means. As I said, I'm not a colorist by any means at all, but really to learn this or how I did anyway, after watching a few tutorials, which was still a bit confusing at the time, I literally just went through each of them and was sliding each option up and down. So for example, this film stock here, I currently have on Kodak Vision 3 250D, which is kind of the most popular one and one I was using most often. I was literally just putting this back and forth. Oh, what does this effect do? Do I like it more on this side, on that side? Do I like it more in the middle? I'd go through literally every single tab and just dial it in so I could really start to understand and learn what each of these things mean. Like I mentioned, I have no idea what half the stuff meant at all before using this. And yeah, there are tutorials and stuff to watch to explain it, but I'm more of a figure it out myself, do it myself learner, if that makes sense. So I had to literally just play around the sliders and see what gives the effects that I like and what doesn't. And in doing that, I feel like I learned the true power of Enhancer because there are so many things that you can manipulate in this image. There's so many different colors, contrast, saturation, all these different ways to control these things a lot better than the general tools you do have in Resolve. Now, Resolve is incredible by itself, and I'm not bashing Resolve at all because really you can do everything on Resolve. I just feel it's a lot harder and there's a lot more places to go, whereas on this, it's just laid out in the different tabs and it's a lot simpler to be able to achieve those cinematic results. I just realized I keep shaking the camera from moving this table, so sorry about that. So Enhancer reached out to me nearly 3 months ago now about making a video about this, and it's not something new that I hadn't heard of. I did know what Enhancer was. I just had a very incorrect perception of it. Well, not quite incorrect, but not a full understanding of what Enhancer truly was and what it can do. So when they said, do you want to try it out? I said, for sure. It took me quite a while because obviously it's nearly 3 months now since receiving the trial of this, but I really wanted to kind of deep dive and understand it and see if it is something that, one, I would use in my workflow, and two, recommend. Because for my videos and most of the stuff I'm making for my clients, I don't need like a super heavy filmic look. I don't need really strong film emulations at the times. Sometimes just a clean modern look, but with a few things like halation or maybe a little bit of film grain, or just a way to better control the colors of an image, which is why I had that hesitation. But I was proved wrong. And after a couple of months of using this now, I've kind of returned to exclusively using this for my color grading. Like I mentioned before, I'm not a colorist, so an easy response from that could just be, oh, why don't you use LUTs? You know, it's really simple. Just drag this onto your timeline or drag this onto your clip, and you can transform your footage from S-Log3 to this great cinematic image. Kind of. Well, here's the thing with LUTs, and bear this in mind whenever you're looking to buy a LUT pack, including my own. If you're going from a log space, whether that's S-Log3, C-Log, whatever the log space it is, directly into the fully color graded image, that probably isn't going to work for your footage. You know, you might see it looking great in the person's promo video, their examples, but it probably won't be the same because LUTs aren't a one-size-fits-all product. If that LUT is going from an S-Log space all the way into that color graded space, what they've done is made a full color grade, going through all the processes, made it look really good, and exported that whole thing. But unless your footage is shot in the exact same way, the same lighting, the same contrast, same white balance, when you put that LUT onto your footage, and you probably experienced this, it won't look very good because your footage isn't made for that. Instead, what you need is a finisher LUT where you convert your footage into a Rec. 79 color space, you correct the white balance, you correct the contrast, you do all these things yourself so the image is balanced, and then you put the LUT on top, which is like a stylistic preset that just then manipulates the colors. You don't want to go the other way around where you're going from that log space all the way into manipulating the colors, because it just won't be right because your footage wasn't shot in the exact same way as the person who is sending you the LUTs. So if you are going to get LUTs, get some finisher LUTs. So it sounded really negative, but I'm not shunning on LUTs at all because they are great and they can really help your footage. But all that to say, why I choose Enhancer over using LUTs is because you can build the look you want from the ground up. Now, that's a little long at first, and you do have to go through the effort, but once you get through that and once you actually find the looks you want, you can get a lot more specific. So when you slap on a LUT, it's great, it looks cool, but you might think, oh, I want to adjust this, I want to adjust that. But once you start adjusting things after a LUT, it just gets a bit messy, it starts to break your footage. So that's where Enhancer comes in, and that's why I tend to use it instead of LUTs. So like with this image here, if I want to adjust the grain, I have a whole section for that grain. You know, I have the type of grain, I have the amount, and I can obviously just toggle it on and off. If I had that built into a LUT, where cinematic filmic LUT with grain built in, it's not going to be the same. I can't adjust the grain because if I want to dial down the grain, I have to dial down the whole LUT. The same thing for the film compression. If I was to slap on a LUT and I didn't have my footage properly exposed, because I smashed this exposure out of the park, just saying. If I was to uncheck that, you can see we're now blown out. It doesn't look terrible, but you can see on the waveform, you know, we are right at the edge. Whereas ticking this, I can now bring that down, tone it down, so we can have much more of a softer image where it's not going from super, super bright, super, super dark. It's, for me, it's more of that nice filmic look. And I have control of that. You know, I can dial that back so I can choose how much of that I want. I'm gonna go there, adjust this a touch. That is the difference when you use something like Enhancer over a LUT. You can actually control these things, and it is a little bit longer and more effort than just using a LUT, but you can get so much better results because you're dialing that image. And it's not to say you have to do this every single time. You can save all of this into a power grade or into a preset, your own kind of built-in LUT in DaVinci Resolve, and then just copy and paste that every time you start a new project. So I'll get into that a bit later, but that is why I use Enhancer over LUTs, even as someone who isn't trying to be a professional colorist and is someone who's kind of on a time crunch with a lot of the projects that I'm doing. Now, where I differ from a lot of Enhancer users and why I was almost hesitant to use this plugin was I don't want my YouTube videos, my client videos looking like the Batman or the Joker. And when I was thinking of film emulation, I'm just thinking about, you know, when you hear about Kodak 2823 and was it 2883, yeah, that Kodak film stock, the very popular one. I didn't want my footage to look like that. I just wanted an easy way to manipulate an image to still get the results I want, but also give it that modern Filmic look, if you will. When I want a clean modern look, I literally just turn that box off and you can still dial in and control everything else within Enhancer without film stock. So when I learned that, I was like, oh, this is amazing. It means I have both controls of having the film stocks or just controlling the other things around it. So I can still, as I said, get that modern Filmic look. So like I mentioned before, from here, I would then grab a still and then save this in my power grades. So I have my 3 main enhancer looks that I go between. I have more of the Filmic look. I have the YouTube one, which is again, the modern kind of classic one, and a Cine Eon, which one just, I won't dive into that now, but it's just basically when I'm in a different color space. But the main ones I do bounce between is the YouTube, which is the modern one, and the Filmic look. From there, I'll then dial it in if I do need to adjust things. But for me, those are the 2 that get me the furthest. Yeah, that is the kind of benefits of a power grade, because you just press apply grade and you have it all there. Same thing for this one. You can just dial in to exactly how you want it. So for me, Enhancer does everything and more that I need, but it's not perfect. The main issue for me, it's not really an issue, it's one of those situations where it's good and bad, is just the amount of tabs it has. Like, looking at all these tabs and sliders, there's so many things that I have no idea what half of them mean. And because there's so many options, it just gets quite overwhelming. It kind of reminds you of that meme where it's like the guy looking at the bus, looking outside the bus on both sides, looking at the view, looking at the wall, where it's like there's a lot of tabs, but there's also a lot of tabs. You have loads of options to get the exact result you want to dial in, but you also have loads of options, so you get overwhelmed. So it's kind of both sides of it. So it's one of those things where you literally just want to close all the tabs. Well, for me anyways, that helped. And press Option on the tab closer there. You can close them and just go one by one. You know, don't have them all open at the same time, because it does get a bit confusing, does get a bit overwhelming. Just take your time and kind of find where it is you want to choose things. And one of the great things is you can just enable or disable. Yep, that's it. You can enable or disable different tabs just by clicking the button, so you can kind of see that effect there. And if a tab isn't switched on, then you're all good. You don't need to, if you have an image that you like the look of, you don't need to touch it. But yeah, I would just recommend taking your time with it. It is a bit confusing at first because there is so much information, but once you learn it all, it's actually really beneficial to have all these different ways to control. Because I'm sure you probably had a similar experience when you first started using DaVinci Resolve by itself. You know, you have all these different tabs down here, so many different options. You know, you hear about how powerful DaVinci Resolve is as a color grading software, but there's a lot. And until you really learn it and understand what each of them mean, and there's a lot, so I still don't know what half DaVinci Resolve does, but it's one of those things where you just want to take your time and go through it, because just like DaVinci Resolve, you know, when you first started using DaVinci Resolve, I'm sure it was very confusing and overwhelming, but eventually, after consistent use, you kind of get your head around it and you realize how powerful it is. And that is the exact same with Enhancer. Now, it's easy to say yes, it's easy to say no. It kind of depends on you and your preferences. For me, it's a no-brainer, and I'm very bought into Enhancer. You know, I very much like the software and what it can do. And that's just because I look now at my old power grades, look at my old kind of color grading things that I used to do. I look at the footage and it's not bad. It just, I prefer how it looks now. I prefer the things I can do to control Enhancer as it is. So looking at this is of course straight out of camera, a flat image, lifeless, not much going on. This is how I'd usually grade it myself, with the different nodes and just the regular DaVinci Resolve tools. And this is the version where I put Enhancer on it. You get a nice richer colors, a realistic looking grain, and just that cinematic glow that kind of makes the shot pop a bit more. And the best part of this, it only took me a few minutes to achieve. That's, you know, why I love Enhancer. Once you finally get your head around it, you can get great results without loads of hours of manual work. Oh, and before we do finish, like I mentioned before, there actually is a phone app you can get where you can get access to all of these film stocks, these editing tools, everything that you pretty much have in the same DaVinci Resolve version that I just went through, you have that on your phone. So whether that's color grading raw photos, color grading your ProRes footage on the new iPhone, whatever it is, you can get the exact same style and look of, like, you know, the film look, the film stocks, just on your phone. And that to me is pretty incredible. So that's my experience with Enhancer. As someone who isn't a colorist at all, it's been a great way for me to still get good looking results with minimal effort, once I got through that learning stage, of course. It's just another tool to help you achieve the results that you want to get. And yes, at the start it is very overwhelming. There's so many different films, so many different tabs, but once you get past that and start to discover what you do like, it's super powerful and you can get really, really cool looking results. But I'd love to hear from you. You know, what is your opinions on Enhancer? If you've used it before, do you tend to just do everything in Resolve or use another film emulation plugin? Or if you can just teach me what half these things mean, that would be great. I'd really appreciate that in the comments below. But that being said, if you've got a lesson, laugh, or a light bulb moment from this video, I'd really appreciate if you drop a like down below. And if you're feeling nice enough, you could hit the subscribe button, but I'll leave the option up to you. That's kind of it from me. So I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.